Welcome back to The Inspired Entrepreneur with Heather Hope. Welcome back, everyone. Happy Friday. Yay, we get to say that finally. Happy Friday. How are you doing? How's your first week of November? This is Heather Hope, The Inspired Entrepreneur. And let's jump in. Man, this week has been full of stories, hasn't it? Have I told you? I just heard something, but I don't know if it was anything real. The other day, I was sitting here at my desk. Nobody else is here. I was watching a YouTube video, and I heard a door slam. And Gizmo barks. I get up because I'm like, there's no one here. The windows are all shut. Doors are shut. There's no draft. What was that? So we walk around the house. I'm checking all the doors. I'm like, there's nothing. What was that? And so Gizmo only barked for a few, like a minute. And then it got quiet. And I'm like, what the hell? And so I come around the corner to see where Gizmo is, and he's just standing in the hallway, and he's just staring at me. And I'm like, okay, you got to stop. He was freaking me out. You would think it was Halloween, but it wasn't. It was last week. But Jesus. So, yeah, I don't know what it was. I checked the YouTube video, too. I went back 10 seconds, and I'm like, it wasn't in the video either. So it was really bizarre. But I think it's just one of those things. But it's like when it happens, it's like, who did that? Which non-physical friend of mine did that? Because that was funny. I don't get creeped out, but it's like, what was it? You know what I mean? Like, I want to know what it was, and I want to know how it happened, and blah blah blah. So, oh well. Anyway, so November 5th, happy Friday. Let's jump. Oh, wait, no. Sorry, it's not November 5th. What day is today? I said it was Friday. It's November 6th. I don't want to confuse you. Don't let my confusion confuse you, because that would really suck. Okay, November 6th. Let's see. Follow where your interest takes you. I've been talking about that a lot lately. The more you follow, the more your life changes. The fun is in the creating. Have a good time on the way to where you are going. I talked about this. I think it was Tuesday's podcast. I talked about this a lot. It was like a 16-minute intro, not even an intro, but before we got to the message, I talked for 16 whole minutes about everything under the sun. But it was about this. Follow where your interest takes you. The more you follow, the more your life changes. It's literally, that's how your life changes. That's how you change your life. You follow what interests you. You got to stop doing all the things that you feel like you need to do or should do or have to do. Or, of course, there's things that you have to do. There's things that we all like absolutely 100% have to do. I'm not telling you to stop doing things that you absolutely have to do. If there's like major consequences, probably don't do it because it's not the path of least resistance. So what I'm saying is, do the things that give you, like, allow yourself. I talked about this the other day of like giving yourself some room in the day. Giving yourself that room. Like, don't overbook yourself. Don't do a million things in a day. If you do a million things in a day, then you don't have time to follow your interests. Do you? You don't have the time. I have tons of time. It's so funny when I look through my life. I'm like, wow, I really changed things up. I have changed things up drastically. And it's funny how much, like, well, I mean, like, if you have kids and then they like grow up and leave, like, then your life kind of opens up, or they, grow up and they're teenagers and they're wandering around town and doing their own life. But if you don't have kids, which a lot of people, like most of my academy don't have kids. So I attract, very similar people, or they're adult kids. And you have a lot more time. Or when you work from home or you work part-time or stuff like that, like you don't overschedule your life. You have that room to breathe. You have that room to allow yourself to follow what interests you. I think our society has put it on us to, or a lot of people have, they want to do everything and they do a lot of things that take up all their time. And then that's what they do for 30, 40, 50 years. And then life doesn't really change much for them. So follow where your interest takes you. So follow where your thoughts are taking you. Follow what, that nudge that you feel, or follow the thought that keeps popping into your mind. Follow it a little bit. I know Bashar talks about follow it until you can't get any further with that idea. Like until you're like kind of stuck or done with that idea for a minute. Like you just don't see anything else in that moment. The more you follow, the more your life changes. The more you follow, the more your life changes. Like we put on hold a little bit to go back to California. We put it on hold. We're going to Scottsdale first. We're going to Phoenix. We're going, we're doing that first. We decided, from the impulses, from the inspiration that I've been receiving, I started a new business and I'm taking it down to, it's a local business. So it's not like an online business at all, but it's, and I'm taking it down to Scottsdale, Phoenix, the whole area. And before we go to California, we're starting a business, both of us, we're starting a business down there. Eventually we'll be able to move. It'll financially support us to live in California. That's the thing too. Like we want this really, really nice, comfortable life in California. And we're able to do that. So we're setting up like this foundation over here, and then we'll go over to California and do the same thing. So we're able to run this business in 2 states, if not the entire country. So that's pretty cool. So we're doing that because I love Scottsdale. I love it. We both grew up there. It's nice. It's bustling. It's got tons of options. It started with when I went down to Scottsdale in August to stay a few nights in a hotel to write my book, to write this whole book. This is where it started. And as soon as I got down there, I was like, oh, God, it feels so good to be here. It feels so good to be around a lot of people, which is so weird for me to say, right? But living in a small town with very, very, very few options to shop, like insanely few. Like there's nothing here. Basically, we have 2 grocery stores and that's basically it. So it's so nice to have choices, even though places are still kind of limited and, sort of thing. It's really nice to have choices, and it's really nice to just have millions of choices around you. So it started with that. It started, it's just a nice place to live. It's a really nice place to live. So that sparked my interest. And I'm like, and this opportunity came up and I'm taking it, and it feels really exciting and it feels good. And it feels like, yes, I see, a lot of financial stability in this. I see a nice foundation building. I see something that's of interest. It's really pulling all my interest into one thing. And it's really cool. So it makes life interesting. It makes life fun to keep following the path. Being in California right now, still probably not the greatest place to be. Honestly, we were there when it shut down, and, they have all this outdoor dining now. They have all these other things, but the restrictions are still crazy. This is where, like, not to get political whatsoever, because it's tiring. Today, I'm recording this on Monday. So, on Tuesday, of course, we're voting. Well, we already voted, but you know what I mean. It's nice to have a mixture. I can see myself, because we want a house in Paradise Valley and we want a house in Pismo Beach. That's our plan. And, of course, Arizona, Paradise Valley is super Republican. Where I live right now is super Republican, like super duper, like super. And like flags for Trump everywhere. It's just, it is a Trump proud town. And Arizona as a whole is fairly red still, which I was looking at the map last night, and I think we're approaching purple. I think we're approaching to become a swing state, which I think is pretty exciting. I'd like to see some change. Obviously, I like change, but on a whole, it's a Republican state, very, Republican, conservative, very, they love their guns. I'm not going to say I'm not involved with all that, but, I can see having contrast. That's where I'm going with this. I like the contrast of living part-time or half-time in a red state and half-time in a blue state. I see the benefits of that now because I'm super moderate. I'm super in the middle of everything. I'm not on either side wholly at all. I'm in the middle of everything. I like just make choices and decisions on how I feel about it. Not like everything has to be one way. But when one state is having tons of regulations and restrictions, it's kind of nice to be in a state that doesn't have so many restrictions. And then when that gets tiring, you go to the other state. That's how I kind of see this panning out in the future. Of like when you get kind of tired of one state being so on one side, so on, the left and so on the right, you can just like switch back and forth. Somebody like me, anyway, I like it because I like the contrast. I like it. So anyway, so right now being in California I don't think it's the greatest place to be right now. Honestly, I was telling somebody, I think we're going to move to California probably by the summer because it's the weather in Arizona is so perfect, or the weather in Scottsdale, Phoenix is so perfect in the winter that it's like such a shame to move now. And plus with COVID, it's like, what's the point? Let's just enjoy the winter in Scottsdale, start this business, have a great time, and then move when we're ready to move. And hopefully, crossing fingers, that things chill out with this thing. You know what I mean? Like, because it's not fun to have a million restrictions. I saw the article on what Governor Newsom, the restrictions for Thanksgiving, and I'm like, it's practically a joke. We might as well just stay home. You know what I mean? Like, fortunately, we don't really do much, but it's pretty funny. It's funny to have restrictions like that when you know that most people aren't going to follow them. But, that would never in a million years fly in Arizona. Like, Arizona is such a different animal of people that it's like, no. Like, half the people in Arizona do not want to wear masks at all. They don't. So it is what it is. I just try not to have much of an opinion about it anymore. I still do, but I try not to express it because there's no point, right? So people can do whatever they want, apparently. So, and they do here in Arizona. But my point is follow where your interest takes you. And our interest is taking us to a different direction before we go to California. Like, I'm still watching the lives from Pismo Beach, the photographers there go live at sunset, and I still enjoy it. Like, I'm watching the pictures, watching the videos, really taking it in because I know what it feels like because we've been there. And I'm enjoying it. And I'm not having the major urge, like the major desire of like, oh my God, I wish I was there. Oh my God, I'm here, blah, blah, blah. That thing. It's more of, I know how that feels, and it feels really good to be there. And I'm enjoying it right now. Because I know that the videos and the pictures, for me, they feel like it's just so close to being there. It's just almost the same feeling. It's almost the same feeling. So the fun is in the creating. Have a good time on the way to where you're going. Just have a good time now. Today is the only day that matters. Right now is the only moment that matters. It's the only moment that matters. Like they say, you're not promised tomorrow. That's true. So you have to cherish, you have to at least enjoy the moment now. Okay, guys, I'm going to get going, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.